What's up everyone, this is Ivan Juwezan, your physical education instructor, and welcome to another fitness video. In this video, I am going to introduce to you the first 5 basic movement patterns, namely the hip hinge, the hip dominant, the knee dominant, the vertical pull, and the vertical push. Basic exercise movement patterns are quite simply exercise classifications which, due to popularity, have formed the foundations of exercise selection. The first one is the hip hinge. This category of exercise is comprised of activities that involve a lot of hinging motion at the hip joint with little to no knee movement. These hip dominant exercises are initiated by contraction of the hip extensors and spinal erectors to extend the hip. These exercises tend to be more of a pulling action as opposed to a push.
Stand with your feet hip to shoulder width apart. Keep your knees soft with a slight bend and maintain this position throughout. Push your hips and hamstrings back as far as you can until your trunk is parallel to the floor with a slight natural arc in your lower back. You should feel a stretch in the backs of your thighs. Briefly pause in the bottom position while maintaining tension throughout your body. Then push your hips forward and come to a full stand, being sure to squeeze your glutes at the top of the movement. Push your hips back, keep your back flat, and keep your knees soft. The most common mistakes, and usually the easiest to spot, is rounding in the back. Rounding of the back creates too much spinal flexion and is the #1 contributor to non-traumatic low back pain. So avoid rounding your back. While sending your hips back, it will create a small amount of knee flexion. The only movement should be at the hips. With too much knee bend, we lose the tension in our hamstrings that is imperative in lifting.
The next one is the hip dominant. Though this category can include the hip hinging movements, it is used to identify all exercises in which the hip joint plays the primary role.
In performing the glute bridge, lie face up on the floor with your knees bent and feet flat on the ground. Keep your arms at your side with your palms down. Lift your hips off the ground until your knees, hips, and shoulders form a straight line. Squeeze those glutes hard and keep your abs drawn in so you don't overextend your back during the exercise. Hold your bridge position for a couple of seconds before easing back down.
The third one is the knee dominant. This category is classified by movements in which the knee is the dominant lever during the exercise.
Stand on one leg with your foot pointing straight ahead and the knee of the other leg slightly bent. You can have your arms extended for balance or kept at your sides. Roll your shoulder blades back and keep your back straight. Keep your weight centered over the ball of your foot, your upper body erect, and your head facing forward. Raise the non-supporting foot from the floor slightly and then lower to a squat position, keeping the knee of the supporting leg centered over the ball of the foot. Start with shallow squats and work your way closer to the ground. Avoid these errors, you get the most out of this exercise. Don't bend your knee too far forward. Your knee should not extend beyond your toes. Think of sending your hips back rather than your knee forward as you squat. And then rounded shoulders and then back. Your shoulders should be kept back with your chest open. Your back is straight and your head and neck are in neutral position.
And the next one is the vertical push. So this category of exercises include all exercises that move a load or a weight vertically in relation to the torso, or at least in that direction. It usually consists of movements in the sagittal plane and the frontal planes.
For the overhead dumbbell press, stand upright and keep the back straight. Hold the dumbbell in each hand at the shoulders with an overhand grip. Thumbs are on the inside and knuckles face up. Exhale as you raise the weights above the head in a controlled motion. Pause briefly at the top of the motion and then inhale and return the dumbbells to the shoulders.
The last one is the vertical pull. This category of exercises also includes moving a load or weight vertically in relation to the torso, or at least in that direction. However, it usually consists of movements in the sagittal, frontal, or transverse planes. Furthermore, this normally means its movements create shoulder extension or adduction with elbow flexion.
For the plank rows without weight, come into plank position. Make sure your back is straight and your hands are stacked under your shoulders. Keep your plank still and row one arm up on an exhale, keeping your elbow close to your rib cage. Repeat the row movement, alternating arms without losing the stability of your plank.
That's it. You're good to go. Get fit, get in, and get on with life.